BlackRock inflows top $1 billion. Trump takes back the White House, and Elon Musk is called to end the Fed. My simulation is getting downright magnificent. Bitcoin, crypto, morning tea. Hey. Good morning, everybody. My name's Matty B. That is Scaramucci's. This is your morning TA. A brief glimpse into the crypto markets where the sun's shining, where the wind's blowing. Oh, the humble opinion of this piano Zamboni Bregan. The data. The FOMO index has dipped down to 76 from yesterday's 78. Bitcoin dominance, 58.2%. 24-hour volumes, 239 billion. The overall market cap, 2.79 trillion. Give or take 100 million. Well, what a weekend we had. Seems the true signal of a bull market is when Bitcoin starts to party on the weekend. And party she sure did. Oh, we talked about this, so it should have come as no surprise to anyone in this boutique community when Bitcoin price action, well, she had a little pump. Moving average. But we've also carved up the cutest little bull flag we ever done gone and saw, and the price probability of this pattern is in. Sing it with me now. Oh, you take the bull, you slide it all, the breakout point, and then we're all at 82.6-ish. Shakira. Lord love a duck. She didn't do just that. After spending most of Friday sitting around in the steam room schwitzing with the consolidatrix, Saturday night came along and Bitcoin put on its dancing shoes, started to cut a rug, and didn't stop watching itself gavotte all night. And just when the night was about to end, someone brought the party some economic goofballs, and the price continued to pump, picking out at 82.4, and has feathered back down to a time of production, 82.1. It's almost hard to believe, although we've been anticipating pumps like this for almost 2 years now. Under normal market conditions, we'd likely see some pullbacks after such an epic pump. So let's see where they might take us. Our first pullback would be the 23.6% fib down at 80.9, followed by the 38.2% fib at 80K, a nice sturdy psychological number. She's so darn tootin'. Maybe we fall back to the goldenest of golden ratios, the Siggity 1.8% fib, way down in the tailwindian loving arms of the 20 moving average at 78.5. Now over on the ding dong, you can see we are in the midst of carving out our 7th straight green candle in a row, which is the longest record in this entire 8-month chop suey. But the current belt holder is 8 green candles in a row, which we saw heading into this run-up and early February 2024, where we clocked in a 17% gain. And so far, with 7 straight candles, we're already pushing 20% upside, and we're at a much higher price point. So it takes a lot more money to move the needle. So we are in the most bullish pump we've seen in years. Possible fibs that might rear its bearish head is the 23.6% fib down at 78.5, which is also the 61.8% fib back on the 4-hour noisy little so-and-so. So there's double word score at that level. Continued bearish pressure would call in the 38.2% fib down at 76.5, which would make all the weak hands sell their newly bought Bitcoin and unfortunately miss the rest of this epic bull run of bull runs. Quick look at the Wookiee. Says we did close the candle hella green. Our biggest weekly candle of this entire 8-month chop suey, clocking in a 17% gain, pushing the price up $11,500. Second place in the biggest weekly candle contest close goes to the week of March 2024, where we saw a 22% gain that pushed the price up $11,500 as well. And the top dog first prize for the biggest weekly gains in this bull run goes to the week of March 2023 that clocked in a 25% gain and pushed the price up $5,700. So although last week's candle is the third biggest in percentage gain, you have to remember that it takes a ton more gauge to move the needle at our current price level. So I'm gonna give the winner's ribbon to last week for the sheer amount of money it took to close that candle at 80K, and with the CPI don't care coming out this week. Followed by an economic soliloquy from old Scotch on the Rocks, booze breath, cherry pow pow. This bullish powder keg could still blow sky high as we bathe in the glow of price discovery mode. Would you look at that, my friends? The sun's up. It's another beautiful day here on planet Earth. A day none of us are guaranteed. We're not guaranteed these days. Yet we're lucky enough to have anyway. So get out there and knock 'em dead. And remember, we're playing the same game as our psychopathic elected leads. That's right, it's the long game. So zoom out and have a fantastic day. And we'll be going live right away, so grab yourself a coffee, join me for a quick one, and by all means, sing it with me now. Around the banks of boom to spang, Bitcoin, crypto, morning tea. Hey, whoa, cha-cha-cha-ching.
I don't know why it takes so long these days. It always makes me nervous when the thing doesn't switch because, you know, Ecamm can just screw up for no reason. And it usually does. Holy smokes. Guess who's back? Carl's back. Guess who's back? Carl's back. Holy smokes, Carl Elder. It's been a while since we saw your handsome face in the chat there. It reminds me of that, you know, that meme where they can put like the AI face and the guy walks out on the stage. That's like Carl Elder with the memberships. Thank you very much for the 20 memberships. Printing it out on a Monday morning, Carl. Welcome back. Nice to have you back with us. I also saw congratulations to Jimmy with your health update, because, at the end of the day, folks, no amount of wealth means anything if you don't have your health. So make sure that's got to be the most important thing for everybody. Because really, I think of it a lot, because it's like we've all been here. We've basically invested the majority of our time, money, and energy into the bear market, essentially. Now we're in the bull market. But I mean, we've been sitting here like for, when we're surprised that it's pumped. It's like, yeah, we're kind of surprised that it's pumped, but we've been talking about it for 2 years. That's how invested we are in this bull run. We've just been sitting here, putting the fiat blood money in there, knowing that it's going to come. And when it does come, it's surprising, but not that surprising, but kind of surprising. Do you know what I mean? So it's like, make no mistake, it can pump to the moon, which it will go eventually. But if you don't have your health, you got nothing. So congratulations, Jimmy. Glad to hear that. With the fib retracement, always got to err on the side of safety and caution. It could retrace, or it could just keep going up. We are in a phase that we've talked about, we've theorized, and we kind of ran into some hypothetical situations about supply shock and inflows, and we talked about it without it really coming into fruition. But now I feel like it's intellectually and economically bottlenecking. Everything that we've been talking about with the supply shock, with the inflows. Like, think about this. $1 billion of inflows to the ETFs. 1 million. I screwed that up. 1 million Bitcoin is in the ETFs now. Over 1 million. Over 1 million Bitcoin. So you think about it, let's call it 5 or 6 million gone. Now we're down to 14, 15 million. Now there's 1 million in the ETFs. Over $1 billion into the inflows. That's just on one day. That's just on one day. So we're almost desensitized to these types of movements now, because $1 billion a day. Can you imagine? 2021. It's March 2021, and we're pumping. We're at like 40K. Ecstatic, euphoric. Now, $1 billion of inflows to the price in one day back in 2021, it would be unheard of. That's unheard of. So now, the only comparison to that type of astronomical inflow would be in 2028, talking about $10 billion in a day, right? And at that point, we'll be like, remember when it was $1 billion back in 2024 and we were losing our minds over $1 billion of inflows? That's exponentially where we go. So the reason why I've always been confident with not only this YouTube channel, as hard as it is, and but Bitcoin, is because of exponential growth. Once you wrap your mind around it, it's hard to do anything that doesn't have it. So for me, it's hard to play the piano bar without YouTube. I'd never do it. Like, let's say the venue had to move, or we had to do it somewhere else and it was a regular gig, I wouldn't do it unless it was with YouTube, because that's where the growth is. The live aspect of it, like playing in front of people, that's great and everything sometimes. But it's really, I do it for the YouTube community and the exponential growth that could one day happen to it. Speaking of that, if you just want to have a laugh, you should you watch the piano stream and just look for Wick's and Wick's wife's comments. They're so funny, and I miss them, right? Because I'm doing 1 million things at the same time. So the next day, I'll usually, put the stream on and zoom into the comments while I'm driving. Not that crazy, but it's super funny. E-money, pianomattyb, how many Bitcoin do you think are just lost forever, and why don't they ever talk about that number? They do. I find most people, when they're talking about the macro aspect of the number of Bitcoins, they usually bring up 5 or 6 million. And the way they got to 5 or 6 million is just from the early days, of people like buying a bunch and forgetting about it. Because who cares? Let's say you bought 1,000 when they were 25 cents. $250, you forget about it. Not only do you forget that you even bought it, you probably forget where it even was. When I think about computers, right? So back then, you'd probably sticking it on a computer somewhere and in your notes or something. There was no security, really. And so if I think back to 2008, 2009, when some of these people would have bought like 250. Kyle Mack. Kyle Mack back. The bull run's on when Kyle Mack actually tunes into the morning streams. He says, but if the live audience wasn't chock full of duds, you and I might have a different sentiment. Yeah, that's for sure. There's some hella duds. I put on the Discord yesterday. Kyle Mack sent me the picture of the girl giving me the finger. And if anyone here isn't in the Discord, hop on. One of the magnificent mods can maybe put the link up for the Discord, because there's lots of action on there. Lots of action on the Discord. And I put the video, the still that Kyle sent me of the girl. I didn't see it, because the reason why I didn't see her giving the fingers, I was intentionally ignoring her, because I knew she was up to something. That just the vibe, she had a negative vibe, right? And I can tell a negative vibe, I can tell a positive vibe. And if someone's coming up to me with a positive vibe, I'll, go out of my way and try to listen to them. But I knew it was a negative vibe. So I just ignored her to the point where I didn't even see her give me the finger. And like, what kind of person does that? Can you imagine how embarrassed you might be if you woke up and one of your friends said, you said something to the piano player and you gave him the finger? I'd be mortified if that happened. Anyway, so the lost Bitcoin, it's all just people forgetting that they even had it or cared. And computers. So you would have to shift everything. Imagine you bought a computer, or you bought the Bitcoin in 2009. You have 250 Bitcoin lying on this computer. You buy another Mac 3 years later, and you go to migrate everything. And there's some times where, maybe you got a better computer with less memory, and you're like, well, some things are got to go. I can't migrate everything. And you just leave some things out. Next thing you know, that computer, you buy another one 3 years later, because Mac won't let you keep one computer for longer than 3 years, because it just slowly slows down. Like, for instance, now my Mac, I have a super powerful, it's old. When I say old, it's 2022 M1, like super mega ultra studio thing. It's quite fast, but I'm bombarded with Mac saying, oh, it's not fast enough. You need to run the new version of this. And you're like, really? That's not that fast enough? But I digress. What was I talking about? So you don't migrate that folder over with your Bitcoin, and then it's lost. And that's only 2 computers. We're talking about 15 years of computers changing. And Joe Suchak says, yet people stay in the cult of Apple. Yeah, I would. I've always said, if someone could switch me over to what is it, a PC, and I didn't have to do any like work and figure out the infrastructure, I would. I'm not like I'm not in the cult of Apple. I'm just stuck in it because I have all these programs that only, like, for instance, Ecamm, that's running this stream here, and that allows me to record all this stuff, and it's quite an awesome program. If you're a streamer, there's a link in the old description. I recommend it for everyone over the other ones. OBS, I think it's called. I've tried both, and the upside to Ecamm is a lot larger than the other streaming platforms. Not that they're not good, but I just find because my channel has all these silly bells and whistles that I've painted myself into a corner with these bells and whistles, I find using Ecamm is way better for me. So I do recommend it. Look at this pumps. This was Friday. This was Friday when we were schwitzing with the consolidatrix in the steam room. What are we going to do this week? And I don't know. Well, usually we don't do anything. Yeah, I might as well just stay in here and schwitz. And then all of a sudden Saturday night came and kaboom, we started pumping. That was pretty fun because we were playing when the price started pumping. And if you go back and watch the stream, when the price started pumping, the actual night took off. Right? There was a couple duds sitting in the front row that left, and then people started dancing. And it was almost as if they were reacting to the price, but we all know that they had no clue what the price. Most people think that that's how many viewers are. They're like, they come up and it's like, is there back in the day, is there 60,000 people watching this stream? I'm like, no. No, unfortunately not. If there was 60,000 people watching that piano stream, that could happen. That we would probably, own our own venue, not be in Winnipeg. It would be a whole different scenario. There will be signs when it gets there. But as the price pumped over to 78, it's hard for me to play. Like, it's one thing to run the stream, watch for super chats, watch for requests, sing in key, all the things that go along with running that stream. But when the price starts pumping, that throws me way off because it's hard for me to be in the now when I'm just looking at that price. It's like, holy shit, it's 78K. Then it went to 79K. It's crazy. Now we're sitting at 81.5, 81.6. We're having a little bit of a retracement, but come on. I mean, it's to be expected with all these. Theo Rodriguez says there should be that many watching. I agree, Theo. I agree. Kyle and I talk about that all the time. It's like this is our paying our dues to play the blues phase of our career. Even though we've had the chapters in our career, it's like the fact that him and I, are playing to sometimes a dozen people. It's heartbreaking, really. Carl Elder. Oh, yes. I remember this super chat. Hit the likes, people. Hit it all day long. Hit the likes while you listen to this song. Carl Elder has been gone for what seems like years, but he's come back. Thank you for the super chat. Thank you very much for the super chat and the memberships, Carl. Much, 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 much appreciated. Yeah, so we one day, who knows? I was talking to the bartender at the GEMINI. His name's Judd, and he's a big crypto guy. Like one of the biggest I know. And it was weird because he started maybe a year ago and, we don't really, we talk, but it's like some of the staff there isn't the nicest. So we just kind of pick the ones that are nice. And Judd was super nice. And it turns out that he was a massive crypto guy and he didn't know that I was a massive Bitcoin guy. It just kind of, because we never really talked, then we started talking, et cetera, et cetera. And I was telling him, it's like, I think we've almost forgotten how bullish things get, how wild things get because it's been so long. Like when you go back to 2021, shit got real weird real fast, and it was like unbelievable when you like even you think about other channels. So think about this for me anyway, as like I wasn't on YouTube. I was doing live streams, pianos to, 2 people, and I would do Duke and Daddy with Duke, right? But I wasn't doing crypto. I wasn't doing TA. But within like 6 months, I remember watching BitBoy's channel at like 10,000, like the size of this channel. 10,000 people, he subs. You know, I don't know what the count was, like, 20 to 60 people watching. And then within 6 months or so, or 9 months, that channel exploded into like over a, who's calling me? No caller ID. Can you see? Who's that? No caller ID. How gross. It's probably CRA or something like that. Government. We won't answer that. Anyway, 9 months later, that channel was at like over 1 million. And then I was making TA for that channel. Like, that jump is wild if you think about it, right? So not only wild for his channel, going from 10,000 to 1 million, that's insanity. But to go for me to not be on YouTube and then be on that channel, that's insanity. And we've forgotten how insane the moves are. Like, life gets weird during the bull run. I mean, the euphoria that we start experiencing is insane. I've kind of experienced now because I've had more people coming. Morning, Zach. I've had more people asking me about Bitcoin. So that's a good indicator when the normies start asking about Bitcoin. Am I too late? You know, it's like long story. Yes. Short story. No. I mean, we are at the beginning of the bull run, right? The exponential banana phase, if it were. Jane is my sister's phoning me now. What the hell? You would think that she would know I'm live streaming from 8 to 8:30. Anyway, I'll phone her back. She threw me off now. What was I talking? Oh yeah, how crazy the bull run gets. People are asking me, are you too late? You're not too late. You're probably, like, think about it, right? Where we are now is in 2021 at 15K. And we've already been up like 30-40%. You know, we went from 8 to 15. And people were like, oh, I missed it. Missed what? It's going from 15 to 69. Wick's answer. My answer would be, maybe a major seventh would be nice on this. It's not too late, but only put in 1/10 of what your soul is trying to tell you. Put it into crypto right now. Just so much easier entering in bear and waiting. That's right. Millions are made in the bear. And that's why, like the amazing thing about this community is that in a weird, sick way, like a sadomasochistic way, I'm looking forward to that bear market. I know, it sounds crazy. And listen, I'm going to enjoy this bull market, but there is a weird sadomasochistic aspect to hodling Bitcoin. Because if you think about it, you spend years in the stink. Years. 2 years for sure, as price keeps on going down. I feel like I've made more videos about price going down than I ever will about price going up. And then after years of being in the stink, in the cold bear crypto winter, you get like this phase where it just seems to go up forever and you forget about everything that was so brutal. But the real wealth is built in that bear market. And now everyone here knows, because I know, I recognize everyone here. We're all long-term boutique members here. We all know that next bear market is another chance to literally change your life and everyone's life. Will they listen? Probably not. Because I was getting a haircut yesterday, and the guy who cuts my hair is actually Duke's uncle by marriage. And he said something like, so Bitcoin's really pumping. You must be happy. And I said, what I'm most happy about is all the people that I told to buy for the past 2 years. I'm most happy that they all listened to me and bought, like yourself. And of course he didn't, right? And that's the unfortunate part. But this is what happens in the parabolic phase of the bull run. Everyone starts seeing clearly, like oh, oh. So what you meant about it going up exponentially, this is what's happening now. This is what you meant? It's like, yes, this is what I meant. And so it becomes clear. Oh, I see. Bitcoin was the most amazing play you could have. And to a certain degree, I feel like I want to ask them, hold on a second. Did you think I was crazy this whole time? Because they must have. Because you know as well as I do, when I'm out talking with anyone, it doesn't, someone can say oh, look at the leaves are changing on the trees. I'm like, well, speaking of change, Bitcoin, and boom, I'm off. So I have this feeling that most people were probably thinking I was crazy and maybe even going, what is wrong with him? He won't stop talking about Bitcoin. He actually thinks it's going to go up forever. He's uses this weird term called number go up technology. What the hell does that mean, number go up technology? Well, we're seeing it now. And when it clicks, it's hard not to become obsessed, because what's more important than protecting your time? Because make no mistake, any money you make is a representation of your time, which is a representation of your life. So anytime that money is wasted or debased or stolen, which is when it's taxation is theft, that's someone stealing your life. So anytime you can find a glitch in this economic matrix and take your life's time/wealth, protect it and grow it, you win. And it really is the only way to win in this economic paradigm we are. It really is. Trevor, Matty B, I remember watching you in the mornings before work and borrowing my conviction from all the YouTubers I watch, including you, and just slowly adding to my bags and holding through the slog. Yeah. It's weird, right? And we're experiencing the payoff now of the holding through it, holding through all that BS. Man, it was long, but I remember saying back at 82K, I remember saying these are the good old days, right? Like these 16 massive days of the bull run where we just pump to no ends, they're really bookended by the bear market. But if this is your first real bull market, like I think there's, to a certain degree, some people got in at the 40K, 50K 2021, kind of wrote it up and then sat in the stink. So they didn't fully get the whole bull market. But now most of these peepers, Nicole says, Matty, the scammer's back on scamming, trying BitBoy, that is. Yeah. Well, yeah, here's the thing. I feel bad. I feel bad for him because he had it all. He had it all, but just I don't want to be too negative on the guy, but if you've seen me on other shows like around the blockchain and blockchain basement, I always bring up the scenario about losers, right? And I just use losers as maybe it's not enough significance for people to care about you, if that's a better word. And then a lot of, YouTubers end up becoming successful YouTubers despite being of no real world significance, so to speak. They may, I don't know if that's coming clear, but they don't know, not having any, holy shit, Sneaky Pete, MicroStrategy just bought 27,000 Bitcoin. Crazy. So when they become, internet famous, they're not used to being significant, and it just ruins them. And we can all see that, right? Like imagine take a friend of yours, E-Money foaming it at the top. Take a friend of yours that, you know, is socially awkward, doesn't have many friends, was never, you know, lucky with the ladies, so to speak. You know, girls didn't like him. Everything was a battle for that guy to, you know, get a girlfriend, keep a girlfriend, get a job, be successful, all those things. It was just, he was kind of like the lonely loser. And all of a sudden something happens and he gets thrusted into the limelight. He doesn't have enough worldly experience to survive it, because it's something that they've never experienced. And then it blows up. You know, that's why I'm not a Bitcoin maxi, but I'm a human minimalist. I've seen too many humans ruin everything they have just because of the trajectory their life take. And maybe it's too fast and furious, and they just can't handle it, and they willfully sabotage themselves. That's a big deal too. When you get the Kurt Cobain scenario where you feel maybe you don't deserve what you have, so to speak. You know, if you've never really had significance, then all of a sudden you were super significant. Well, maybe in a weird way you self-sabotage yourself, and that's what we kind of saw. So I don't know. All the best to him, I hope. The road to redemption in my books are always there. You know, someone can. And listen, the worst part about whatever happened is that with his Ben coin and the money that people lost aping in with him, I think that's the real tragedy. And even though I always keep the road to redemption open for anyone, even people I don't know, and I don't know Ben. I don't know Ben personally. Hopefully he can pull that out of the fire. And will he? I don't know. We're not sure. All the best, though. Look at this, 82.4. We're back in. We're just pumping. We're just pumping. We're not going to see any pullbacks. And see, I want to see a little bit of a pullback because I would like to get some exposure to MicroStrategy. I feel like I've told a bunch of people to get it out of their TFSA because they're kind of limited to the TARDFI system, legacy TARDFI stocks. And I couldn't even get in because I was waiting Monday. I was waiting for a big dump like a Kamala Harris collapse. Never happened. And it's just been up, up, up and away. And of course, MicroStrategy is a leveraged Bitcoin proxy. So Bitcoin goes up. God damn it, MicroStrategy is going to go to the moon. So congratulations to everyone who listened to anyone that said buy that. Because they're probably ecstatic right now. Are we at all-time highs on the pianomattyb morning stream? 82.3. What was all-time high? 82.5. Crazy. Isn't it? We're almost at all-time $82,000 US. Here's the funny thing. I say this all the time. We'll look back at that number in 4 years and we'll think how heartbreakingly we'll just be like, oh, remember we thought 82,000 was so high. Now, we could come back to 82,000 in the bear market, but here's another thing. Now, I should probably end the stream. It's getting a little long here, but there's a good chance that we may never see another. I got to take this text. Anyway, there's a good chance that we might not see the selling pressure we did as we did in the last bull run because we have these institutions aping in. You have potentially the Trump trade, $1 million Bitcoin in 5 years. It's 500 a day. It's 500 a day plus or minus a couple. That's more than the miners produce. Right there. Then you have MicroStrategy. More than the miners produce. That's two entities buying twice the supply in a day. In a day. That's just them. Now, we also have all the institutions, all the hedge funds aping in. And here's an interesting, if history repeats itself or rhymes, when the gold ETF came out, each year was more and more purchasing. So whatever the year one was, year two was more, year three was more than two, year four was more than three, up till 8 years. So for 8 years, the gold ETF had inflows that surpassed the previous year. Now, who knows? Maybe we got off to such a bullish start, it being the most successful ETF ever. When I say that to people, normies at the squash club, it's like, well, the ETF is the most successful ETF, in mankind's history. It doesn't really, they don't get it. For some reason, that in itself doesn't blow people's minds. That one thing. So let's just stack the mind-blowing bullish aspects. You can see we're hitting euphoria, right? The number one ETF humanity's ever incurred, that in itself is huge. Now, MicroStrategy buying the daily supply for, 3 years or 4 years? So think about this. That's through the bear market every day. The whole supply being bought up. Now, if and when the Trump trade goes through, there's another 500. That's twice the daily value. And now we go back to the ETFs that are hungry hippoing everything else that's left. And, well, hold on a second. There is nothing left because those two entities have bought twice the daily mind. So eventually it's going to come down to the OTC desk. And what's going to happen to the OTC desk is that it's going to dry up. And once that dries up, I don't know what to tell you. People say voraciously speaking, they say 120 for a Bitcoin top on this bull run. Okay. I think under normal market conditions, 120 is, a very conservative upward probability. But what if all these bullish factors end up playing out? 82.5, we're almost at all-time highs right on the streamer. What if it starts playing out and there's no more Bitcoin? Like it's a bizarre thing because on top of not understanding the number go up technology and scarcity, right? So it's hard for humans to appreciate scarcity because we never really, here in the first world, we never really experienced that much scarcity. There's always food at some store. There's always toilet paper on some shelf. You know what I mean? So our concept of scarcity is really abstract because the only real scarcity we have is time, and we don't really put enough of our intellect anyway. I think we would all change drastically once we realize that time is finite, right? So a finite resource. We're just not used to comprehending it, but that's what Bitcoin is. So once you understand that it is finite and there's no more. There's no more. The price can go to $1 million. There's no more Bitcoin that's going to be made. The miners aren't going to start running their hoofies to the quick and producing more. They're capped. It's capped. There's only 450 a day. And that's for the next 3.5 years. Then it goes to 225. Holy shit. So, okay. We got 450 with all the institutions buying every day. 2 of the institutions buying twice. What happens in 2028 when there's 225 and everyone's still buying? So that is where the exponential aspect of the Bitcoin price goes. And holy smokes, when it goes, it's gonna be epic. And everyone's gonna say to you guys, oh my God, Nicole, Intune, Wick's wife, Jimmy, Mr. Mark, Carl Elder, Misco, Bruce Mai, you're all so lucky. You guys are lucky. To a certain degree, I suppose we're all lucky that we ended up here. But until you do the research, until you have the conviction, until you wait out a Bitcoin bear market, I mean, are you lucky? Are you just super disciplined? And you know how to invest properly. You have a long time horizon. That's really the difference between everything. Mr. Mark, we are lucky to hear Pianomattyb singing to us every day. Well, thank you, Mr. Mark. Wick, lucky wasn't how I felt when the blood-curdling screams over FTX were ringing. Yeah, see, like the funny part is like we're almost like soldiers in a battalion or a platoon, because we've all been through the same. We've seen shit that most people will never see when it comes to a bear market. We saw like Celsius, FTX. There was a time where if you were to told people that Celsius, and I've seen YouTubers, respectable YouTubers, people that I watch all the time, having houseless hooligan Matty B trying to make me FOMO at the top, interviewing Mashinsky, asking him, is Celsius okay? And Mashinsky saying on a live stream, of course it is. Of course it is. And then a week later, it's out of business. Which is another reason to get it off the exchange. Most people also, we went up to 82.5. Now we're coming back to 82. Oh, well, it's going to be a little bit of a hectic day, I guess. Well, I'm expecting a big day today. Now, if we get 8 red candles in a row, we will tie our daily 8 candles in a row record, which will be unbelievable. Just goes to show how absolutely bullish everybody is right now, and where we are in this market is crazy. Get ready. Buckle up. This is it. This is what everyone's been waiting for. Enjoy it. Put on your safety belt. Put on your safety helmet. And just watch the price go up. Will there be pullbacks? Of course they will. We talked about it, though. When they come up, we'll talk about it again. Anyway, thank you very much for everyone tuning in here. Much appreciated. Thank you for the super chats, and thank you for the memberships, Carl Elder. Nice to have you back. Jimmy, congrats on your information. Hope everybody has an absolutely wonderful day.
Make sure you like and subscribe and share this video with someone you think might. I FOMO'd in at the top, couldn't stop myself. I FOMO'd in at the top, now I'm down low. I should have held court till resistance became support. I should have held court till resistance became support. Everybody jumping off a bridge, all my friends were doing drugs. Everybody's cracking beers, who the heck am I to judge? I feel most I shouldn't care, but influencers everywhere telling me I'm missing out. Drinking on their offer boats, I couldn't take it. I FOMO'd in at the top, couldn't stop myself. I FOMO'd in at the top, now I'm down a lot. Hey, Scaramucci's the cat. I should have held court till resistance became support. I should have held court till resistance became support. Now I'm beating myself up again, lamenting on the sheep I met, and take away the pot I piss, and I know I still wouldn't listen. Any of you what they wanna ape, and well, just let me one. Don't give yourself a heart attack, wait for the price to pull back. Don't FOMO in at the top, couldn't stop myself. Now FOMO'd in at the top, now I'm down a lot. I should have held court till resistance became support. I should have held court till resistance became support. FOMO in at the top, couldn't stop myself. I FOMO'd in at the top, now I'm down a lot. Yeah, I should have held court till resistance became support. I should have held court till resistance became support.